Morning, excellent afternoon, and wonderful evening. This is Carla from Planet Union, and I mention every part of the day because we want everyone from all parts of the world to come join us, talk about your country, your life, whatever you want to talk about. That way, we will all get to know each other, and the fear of diversity becomes less. So we ask that you come from all areas. If you see the link, if you see this, I will be putting the link in the chat in a moment. I need to get this show started, and then I will put it in the chat. And I'm so happy and honored to be able to do this once a month. And I have my two helpers here, and they're on time, and I am on time, and life is going on time. I don't know how, but it happens. And with that, I'm going to ask Huang to please, please, please introduce yourself.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Carla, Victor, and everyone. Yes, so my name is Huang. I can say like I'm the lawyer. Regular friends and participant here for Carla's show and sessions. Whenever she invites me, I decide to jump in. Yes, so I'm speaking from Vietnam. I have been teaching marketing, international business for more than 17 years in a university. Yeah, right now I'm in Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam, and we have like more than 10,000 students. They are more than 18 years old. So I love teaching. Yes, of course, no doubt about that. Apart from that, I really love talking and interacting with different people from different countries to know more about our world, this planet. Yeah, I mean. So thank you so much once again for creating this section for us to interact and communicate with each other better and better. Thank you.
What did you do today, Huang?
Today is my Sunday, but I didn't have my day off. I was busy with my students. I have to join that kind of the session to, classify my students' level about English, to arrange them in different small groups to train them about English before they officially enroll in the main course.
Okay, so what is your job now? Is it to help people with English or?
My job here, both teaching and supporting my students to be ready for their futures, especially to get familiar and to be more interested in more ready, yeah, for their English learning journey.
So you are not teaching finance now, you are teaching English. Is that correct?
Actually, I'm teaching principles of marketing and international business.
Okay. Okay, that's good.
Thank you.
And do you enjoy it?
Yes, I am so excited.
Is that different from what you taught in the past?
A little bit different. A little bit different because I get more chances to support international students and different organizations who come to my new university to make some contracts to exchange our international students from different countries. So I'm so happy to support them to do that.
Wow. Thank you, Huang. I didn't know that.
Yes.
Do you like your new job?
Yes, I like it. I feel so happy.
Oh, well, you always seem happy.
Thank you.
Okay. And today, Huang,
What did you say?
what did you do today?
Today, today I got the chance to support my students, and also in the afternoon, I had one section with my small students who are 16 years old and under, yes, and younger. So I have just finished my section before joining your show here.
Well, I'm so glad you came. You made
Thank
time for me.
Yes, I love to do that.
Okay, Victor, can you please introduce yourself?
I am Victor Irving Jenkins.
And never ask him how he is. He has one answer and only one answer. Come on. You ask him once and you know he'll tell everyone that. Victor, how are you today?
Well, Carla, I'm better than I was, but I'm not as good as I'm going to be. And that's the truth. You know, in actual fact, I have a little spiel I do on that. Even that in itself is a spiel. However, anything that we do over and over and over, we naturally get better at doing it. So let's just say, for instance, if that one thing is living, every day you live, you are better at living that day than you were the day before because of the knowledge that you picked up from the day before. Let's just say you are being. If you're just being, you are better than you were doing it yesterday because there's some things that you thought about yesterday that didn't thrill you. Well, today, you are not going to think about those things. I get to nourish this all day long as I drive around making deliveries for individuals who use an app and they order something and I pick it up and take it to them. And from time to time, I meet people at their door because they have two options. They can have me hand them whatever it is I'm delivering, or they can have me leave it at the door. Well, the person who has me hand it to them, I get a chance to talk to them. And often I change their mood. Often I change their mood. Often when I leave them with a smile because I believe that inside of every human being, there's a little guy just like me dying to get out, and all they need is a trigger, and I'm that trigger. Oh, incidentally, I live in Sacramento, California, and I spend my days delivering. I spend lots of time with speakers, aspiring professional speakers, and my desire is to continue helping people look better online as they're speaking, because this online speaking is not going to go away. It's never going to be the same as far as I'm concerned. And many people who get speaking engagements, there will be online speaking engagements because you get to communicate the information, communicate the content without the price of an airline ticket, without the expense of setting up a venue. So sometimes the only exposure to you that people are going to get is the one that they get online. And when you do go online, you want to look sparkling and shiny, just like I do right now. Back to you, Carla.
Amazing.
Well, talking about that, you brought up a really powerful point that it is true. We are going, every day we're growing, every day we're developing, and every day there are changes in our lives. And when we become aware of that, we become aware that maybe yesterday wasn't the greatest day, but we wake up and say, well, today's going to be greater. We make that happen. Now, how do you do that, Victor? so people here can learn from you?
Everything begins with a thought of some kind. Things and thoughts resonate at a certain frequency. And things that resonate at the same frequency, they tend to be attracted to one another. Now, we are thinking all the time, and we have the choice of either letting our thoughts run wild and let whatever thoughts come around sit in your mind, or you can direct your thoughts. Now, how can you direct your thoughts? Right now, what I'm thinking about is what I'm seeing. Whatever it is that's coming out of my mouth, it's impossible for me to not think about it. And what comes out of my mouth is my choice. I decide what I'm going to say. There's this little concept called spaced repetition. And spaced repetition is if you repeat the same thing over and over certain intervals during your day. I am happy and grateful now that my wife and I get along better than we ever did. I am happy and grateful now that my wife and I get along better than we ever did. And I say that during the course of the day at certain intervals. And just like the pump, and we'll talk about priming the pump in a little bit, after you say it often enough, then your mind will catch a hold of it and your mind will keep saying it for you, and it becomes less and less effort for you to think about it. You just think about it naturally. So you plant the seed by saying the words, you think about the words that you plant, and eventually it comes to fruition in your life. Zig Ziglar, a world famous motivational speaker, has a concept that he talks about called priming the pump. Now, I don't know if you've ever seen one, but there's a manual pump that has a steel pipe going all the way down to the ground that gets into where the water is underneath the earth, underneath the ground. And when you pump to create the vacuum, to create the suction, water comes flowing out of the pump. Typically, after you don't do it for a while, you can crank the handle and nothing happens. But you take some water, you take a container full of water and you pour it through the top of the pump. And then you start cranking it kind of fast, and you pour a little bit more through the top of the pump, and you start pumping it a little bit. And before you know it, water is flowing out of the pump continuously. And each time you crank it, you'll get some water flowing out. And pretty soon, all you have to do is keep cranking the pump, and the water will flow out of it just as hard as it flows out of a faucet. That's called priming the pump, and that is the principle. That is the seed time and harvest principle. So if you don't like what's happening in your life, don't think about what's happening in your life. Think about what you want to happen into your life, no matter what it looks like, and you keep doing that. And inevitably, according to the principle, sooner or later, it has to start flowing just the way you want it.
I like that. What do you think, Long?
Yes, that's so inspiring. I love his message as well.
Okay, how does it inspire you?
Yes, like just like a nature. I mean the nature and natural law in our life. So whenever everything comes to us, just face it and go over it, get through it. Like our life need blood and oxygen for our life. So just get used to and adapt and to get through all the things. And I love his share about that example for blood. You need blood for our heart to maintain our life.
So how do you use that in your daily life?
In my daily life, actually, for my life, I have been experiencing a lot of obstacles So I always think that life is not always a better process. A lot of challenges in life, but I never give up. Even like a lot of people judge me about learning English or doing my volunteering work for other people. Apart from joining your show, I have been running my own show as well. So, and even I resigned my government job, but I didn't cry. I just keep moving and moving and going ahead. Yep, that's my life.
You mean the school you're teaching now, is it a government job or no?
No, it's a private one.
And how do you like that?
Oh, it's good. It's so amazing. I get the chance to challenge myself with a new working environment, new people.
And how does that make you feel?
That's because by challenging myself, I will get new chances to improve myself in a professional way, and also that's like a potential opportunities for me ahead will come to my life, so will change my life. Yeah, after 18 years, I haven't had any ideas about changing my life, myself, my job, or my office. But finally, I could move out my comfort zone. That's my achievement and my success in life.
What has helped you move out of your comfort zone?
Honestly speaking, my motivation, I got inspired from other people. I mean, my friends who got our her work and her current job, previous job, not current. Right now, she could move on to the different universities. Even she didn't care about what would challenge her. And also my parents gave me a lot of motivation when they are older and they have to go to the hospital. So that urged me to come close to them, to support them more. So I decided to resign my job and to find another job. And I thought that I was ready for a new job because you know that I'm a dedicated person and also diligent to improve myself, to keep upgrading and joining your show and training myself every single day. So I'm ready for new changes. So that's the reason why I decided, even I think that it's late, but better late than never. Even after 18 years, I should change earlier, but better late than never. Before I couldn't, I can see my parents more. Because right now they are facing a lot of problems about their health.
I'm sorry to hear that. So what else would you like to share with us right now about your culture, because your culture is very different from mine.
Yes. I want to say that we are Vietnamese here. We are very, dedicated, and also we are diligent. hardworking people, obviously, but sometimes we are not able to move our mindset, our comfort zone. Even we still keep the idea like, oh, you need to work for the government, and you don't know that right now both government and our society, we have to share and join together, to handle the social problems, and also we will share our budget. Yeah, we shouldn't put a big burden on the government shoulder, because that's we are moving ahead with a lot of things to spend money on that. So every single citizen should raise their awareness about sharing and caring each other about financial resources. Yeah, we are not able to depend on only our government. So every single person should take responsible for their actions, their activities, yeah, in the daily life. And also, I want to send my message to our young generation that we are from, very difficult, and also I can say like some disadvantaged locations, but there are a lot of opportunities potentially ahead, and we are teachers, we are educators, we are here to support you, to assist you. Where there is a will, there is a way. So don't give up, and don't be upset about the way you are doing. Just keep moving with your own ways, dedicatedly, and also when you have to think that no pain, no gain. Yeah. So if you want to be successful in life, you have to work hard and clear your plan, your future plan. Yep.
Very good. What do you want to say about that, Victor?
Nothing about that specifically. I'd like to know who Mr. Will Hayes is. Maybe we could see his face.
If he doesn't show his face, he will be removed.
Okay.
He did it himself. I thought he was a friend of yours. What would you like to say about?
Well, as it turns out, there is a balance between what we get in our lives and what we put into our lives. And what we put into our lives depends on our level of knowledge and level of understanding. Once we figure out that what we are getting results from what we are doing, then we start doing different things. I was listening to a video last night. I kind of grow a little jaded with the media that's being produced. Every time you turn around, there's always some complaint about this, or someone straightening someone else out, or someone telling somebody else where they're going wrong. So I crave things that actually don't do that. And that can be anything from comedy to talks about money. And talking about money is offensive to some people, but talking about money to me is entertainment, and it keeps me thinking about money. I've come to embrace that when you don't have the sort of money that you want to have or you think you deserve, it's broken down into 3 factors. And we all do something, Carla. We all do something. We're human beings, but we could be human doings because we're always doing something. So the amount of money or resources depends on, number one, whatever it is that we do, okay? The demand for it. How high is the demand for the things that we spend our time doing? Good question, right? Second factor. How good are you at doing whatever it is that you're doing? Because when we're talking about the seed time and harvest principle, about how what you get in your life depends on what you do in your life. So that's number one, the demand for what you do and how good you are at what you do. And finally, the difficulty in replacing you. So it will be helpful. It's paramount that whatever it is that we do, we got to be good at doing it, and we got to be hard to replace. Now, as I look at that, I think about what I do. I am Victor Irving Jenkins, and I'm really, really good at doing Victor Irving Jenkins. And you know what? You can't replace me easily. So alluding back to better than I was and not as good as I'm going to be, the degree of resources that are under my control, the amount of money that I get to have, I get to use, is dependent on those things. And so my life's goal is to continue to be better. And you're better by helping others. You're better by planting seed into others. So that's what I think about, broadly what Huang was saying. And I think about the sort of thing that she was saying on a regular basis, because as I said, I crave things to think about, things to consume that are not complaining in nature. It's so easy to find something to complain about. But after you find things to praise, after you look for things to praise for a long enough time, pretty soon you will attract more and more things to praise in your life.
That's true. What do you think about that? I know the more you praise, usually the better you feel. So, Huang, what do you think?
That's amazing shares and factors, Victor's. Yep. So I agree with that. Like I have observed is you are unique. Nobody can replace you, especially when you are like the unique one, and also you are special. Also, when you are moving ahead with your own way and special way, so you are so powerful and unique, so nobody can replace you, of course. But sometimes we are not able to avoid, I mean, like jealousy or some problems in life, but just move on and find out the proper place or proper ways to go. If they don't need you, you don't need to support them, you don't need to stay next to them, right? So that's the thing. They are not about to replace you, but when they don't need you, there is no reason for you to stay next to them, right? Yeah. So yeah. So they're not able to deny. So for me, even they are not able to replace me by someone else, because I'm unique and I'm still like beneficial for them. But the thing, if they don't respect me, so I don't need to stay next to them. I will find out other opportunities or place for me to stay. So the place I can see my future development, I can feel comfortable and happy with my life. That's the thing, yeah.
Okay, there are people coming to the show without real names. We will not allow you in unless you have a real name. iPhone is not considered a real name.
Remove it, Hala.
I
Raphael.
think we're going to remove all the people trying to come in, and also the lady that I already let in, because she's not showing her face. It's not something that we're going to allow, and you might as well forget about coming. And if she's going to hide her face, I will remove her too. We don't need this game. Can you remove her, please?
No, I'm not the host, the
I'm
co-host.
going to make you a co-host right now because I'm having trouble. Oh, she's showing her face now. Okay, Julie, can you please introduce yourself?
She's
Well,
I
playing.
am the person who tweeted out this thing to Twitter, and good luck dealing with all the stupid idiots who are going to try to get into this Zoom room.
Right,
You're amazing.
I just said, what, you removed her?
Yeah, she
No.
needs to be removed.
Okay,
I read her properly. She needs to be removed.
okay, can you also begin removing people? I'm gonna make you a co-host.
Sure.
What a
because This
disturbance.
is ridiculous.
There's
A lot of-
14 people in the waiting room.
Oh my
They
goodness.
can all be removed because they do not have real names. You know,
Take them all out.
yeah. I am not allowing people in who do not have real names. That's all there is to it. And a real name includes a first and last name. And also report them to Zoom. When it asks for that, just report them. Okay, so back to what you were saying, Huang. What is it that makes you happy?
Honestly speaking, when I can do what I I want, that will make me happy. And when I can support other people, so I will feel like thrills, pleasures to do that. And with my God, a lot of people. Sorry.
Yeah, well,
So
we're not allowing them in. They can sit in the waiting room if they want, but don't know.
a
Don't.
lot of yeah, a lot of disciplines today. All right. So when I can do the thing I'm dreaming about, like supporting a teaching, for example, like a teaching is my favorite activity. So when people let me teach and support my students, and when I can connect my students with their future development, like I introduce them to a new organizations and new working place, a new company to work for that, and that's my happiness. Yeah, when they again I connect with them, I ask them about their situation, they reply me that like teacher, I'm happy with my job right now and my life. So that's the thing I feel really blessed and happy in my life, honestly.
Well, and that's good because life is to be enjoyed. It's
Yep.
not to be full of all the junk that we get so involved in. That junk has no value to anyone. When we can search and realize that what we see outside of us is really no consequence to what is going in us, life begins to change. It begins to become more enjoyable. And, you know, like these people who are coming, the trolls that we're getting today, I have no idea how they found
Me
us.
neither.
But the point is, I feel very badly for them. Because if they want to waste their time playing these games, what is the value of the life? I mean, why be stuck on making someone feel bad. Not that I would allow someone like that to make me feel bad, but it keeps away the pleasure of what life is actually about. What do you think, Victor?
I think
You're
it's
doing a
unfortunate.
great job of removing people.
Well, the difficulty in that is that I'm distracted from the conversation that's going on. And once I'm distracted from the conversation that's going on, it's a little cumbersome to contribute to the flow of the conversation.
True, but
But
Victor, they can just stay in the waiting room. That's not
okay,
going to upset us. They can't hear us. We can't hear them. It's better.
and that's an interesting point of view too about we say things like people make us happy or people make us sad or people make us this or make us that. But we all have a natural tendency to be a certain way. We all have a natural tendency to do things a certain way. And for me, there's a verse in the Bible that illustrates that when the Bible says, knock and it shall be opened, it says, seek and ye shall find. It says, ask and you will be given. Certainly those have holy connotations. Certainly they have godlike thought processes. But in reality, whatever shows up in my life, I take the responsibility for bringing it into my life by virtue of the thoughts that I allow to stay in my head. And I believe that is true for many of us. For instance, all of us know people that every time we see them, or the majority of times that we see them, they have a tale of woe. Woe is me. This happened to me. That happened to me. And you can depend on them to have a story about something, some outcome occurred that they didn't like. Conversely, there are people that every time you meet them, they have a story about some victory or about something great that happened or about some experience that they had that they want to share with you. Both people are attracting into their life what's showing up into their life, but the person who's having the outcomes that they don't like, they don't think that they're doing it to themselves. So they never change anything that they do. They never change anything that they think. And as a result, they keep getting what they get. I can recall periods in my life when I woke up in the morning, my attitude was, oh my, I'm still here. Oh, what's going to happen to me today? And someone who I cared for said to me, Victor, it seems to me like there's a buzzard following you around, and every few minutes, every certain interval, the buzzard drops some crap on your head. And you seem to like it. And that was painful when they told me that. It was horrible when they told me that. But I had to look at that, Carla. I had to look at that one, and I had to wonder, why was I having the outcomes that I was having? And because I was genuinely concerned about where I was going and what I was experiencing, I attracted solutions to those things into my life. And once I got those solutions, then the buzzard went away. I spend the majority of my time sharing this concept with people. And when I'm not sharing the concept, I'm listening to people for two reasons. I listen to people because they're interesting, and I listen to people so I can figure out how to sell them on my philosophy if they're open to it. Because I'm looking for people that are open to being converted from the way they were to the way they are. And that is an active search that I do all the time. And I'm not the least bit embarrassed about it. They say that you can't change people. Well, if you get leverage, you can change people. But you want to change people to some place where they are glad that they went. Unlike the people who are trying to change us by making us disgusted by putting these images on our live broadcast, that they just get a little chill, a little thrill from doing.
You know, it's very sad that they feel they need to do this. For a while, I had this happening in the English show. And just like Huang said, just remove them. That's what you need to do. But the fact that someone would spend their life going into Zoom rooms and upsetting the room or upsetting the conversation just doesn't make any sense to me. Don't you have something better to do? Like read a book, maybe watch some TV? I don't care if you watch cartoons, but that would be better than wasting your time doing this. What do you think, Huang?
Obviously, I agree with your idea. But nowadays, our young generation, they are so weird. I don't know what things in their mind right now. They are thinking about trolling and interrupting, or even playing like pranks to other people. I don't know. They want to make people annoyed and angry with them. I don't know why they are behaving like that. That's so weird. Yes, that's like something like when they are facing their problems, they don't have the place to share. I think that's what a pity for them. Yeah, when they are wasting time on some different like nonsense activities like that. Yeah, but I feel so painful when seeing our generations acting or doing like that way.
And I agree with you wholeheartedly, Huang. There was a point in the English show when trolls, it only lasted for a week, maybe 2 weeks. But they came to the English show and all they did was talk about couches. And I could see it in the chat. And I was like, you really expect me to bring you in with that? And I began ignoring it. And when you ignore this craziness, they go away because they want to upset us. And there's no need to do that. Why don't you use your time reading a book? And part of it, and I think maybe Victor can relate to this more than you, Huang, is that at least in our country, there are a lot of children who are having babies and having children and thinking, oh, we need to be a pal to our children so they love us. No, you don't need to be a pal. You need to be a parent. And but when they're so young, they don't understand that. What do you think, Victor?
This is a topic of which I have spent lots and lots of time thinking about, and my challenge is simply not alienating the people who need to hear what I'm saying. And the generation that we're describing, they have so little constitution. They're so broken. It's difficult for them to understand that they can not be broken. I was at a pizza place last night picking up a delivery, and 4 young ladies came in, and they were all together. They placed their order and they sat down, and 4 young ladies each took their phones and they were staring at their phones and scrolling on their phone. And the 4 of them are together. It doesn't occur to them that they're not enriching their relationship, or it doesn't look like it to me. The difficulty is, for me, they live in such a different world to them, they may be nurturing their relationships simply by sitting next to each other and scrolling on their phone. And to them, they're building their relationships with each other. But for me, to be sitting next to each of them, they have a relationship with their phone.
Yeah.
They don't have a relationship with each other. How do you say that? How do you to tell any one of us that we're doing something wrong? No one that we know of is walking around living their life waiting for you or me or anybody to come and tell them, hey, you know what you're doing is wrong and you need to stop. And we aren't either. If somebody were to tell us what you're doing is wrong, stop, it'll go on one end and come out the other, or we will put up our dukes and be ready to fight. So it's a balancing act to take one step forward, two steps back, two steps forward, one step back. It's a balancing act to get to the people that need to hear what we have to say. But the difficulty is that it takes a commitment on the part of the person that's sharing the information. And frankly, most of us are too busy living our lives, doing our thing to give it the necessary time. But someone has to speak to the people in the younger generation. Someone absolutely have to, and they have to be a person that the younger generation is going to pay attention to. And in my world, that's somebody online. You got, like what we are doing here, we stand a better chance of getting to the people that need getting to than actually sitting down and talking to them, because they're scrolling on their phone. And if they run across this broadcast and something stops them, then we can effect some change.
Well, when we first began this, or first began dealing with social media, I remember going out to lunch and being very concerned about my phone. And all of a sudden, and people began saying, Carla, aren't you here with me? And I would say yes, and I'd put away the phone. But now I have this whole thing. Hey, let's stay off our phones. Let's talk to each other. We've forgotten how to do it. We've forgotten, with the pandemic, we've forgotten how to talk to people. I was out to lunch with a friend and I forgot, hey, I'm really out to lunch with a person that I can feel and touch, not a person that's on a screen. And it changes things so quickly. The kids. Go on.
I'm sorry.
No,
go on, Carla.
No, go on.
Lest we forget, it might be hard to fathom, but the thing that drives people to be connected with somebody on their phone is the same thing that we have that want to be with people. The same desire to associate, the same desire to have meaning, have merit. It's the very same thing. So when we are using our phone, or when anyone is using their phone, there is a deficiency in their ability to connect with other people. That's why they're on their phone. If they could connect with other people as fearlessly as they can connect with their phone, they would do more. But on the phone, there's no repercussions. When you're disappointed with someone, it's easy to tell them that on the phone. It's harder to tell them that in person, because if you tell them that in person, they might not like you. You tell them that on the phone, doesn't make any difference because they don't know who you are. So we mustn't forget that the reliance on social media and the connection that people try to establish with social media, they have the same drive, the same contribution desire that we have. The same thing that makes us want to be with each other on this broadcast is making them want to be on their phone. So if we can correct the deficiency, and believe me, it's an uphill battle to correct the deficiency, I think we can find more people being with you in the moment than we can on social media. I've made a commitment that if I'm on my phone, if I'm with somebody, man, I'm not on my phone. If I have an appointment, then I'm not on my phone. Even now on this broadcast, I used to do my broadcast with my phone beside me. I used to be online with my phone beside me, but you know, if I'm online, then I'm going to practice what I preach, and I want to leave my telephone in the other room. And I'm going to keep my computer on the page that I'm on, unless I'm posting the link to the broadcast that I'm on. So being single-minded, being focused on one thing at a time, I think it's something that requires effort, but it's something that's really needed in our culture. It's just really a tough thing to do. But my best work, the way that I help you and everybody else, the way I do a better job is by spending that time alone and gearing myself up for the time when I'm with people. And fortunately for me, I have lots of it. People who have children or live in homes where there's 15, 16 people, they have a tougher time of it, but it's still possible to do.
True. What do you think, Huang?
Yes, I agree with his idea. Yeah, stay focused. Sometimes I need to be alone to think about something I have done before. And of course, like a so like weird this word today, like some researchers have said that in Vietnam right now, on average, we have 1.5 phones per person. That's very ridiculous. Oh, yeah, even in the family, parents, I mean, father, daddy, and mom and children, they have their own mobile phones. So even sitting together, but they are using their own phones, so they don't talk with each other. That's so weird. That's
Yeah.
we need to change. We need to think about this problem about family education.
And we need to teach the children who are having children this
Yeah.
too, because it's more something that isn't being taught by children. I make a big deal. I love it when people like Raheen the kids like Raheen, Fatima, and Ali, and start coming to the show. But at the same time, are we allowing them to grow up too fast by allowing them in? Because look at Raheen. And I'm not making fun of her and I'm not putting her down, but she used to be a child. She's 14, maybe 15 now. Childhood has been robbed away because she's always on social media. Victor, you said yes very quickly. Do you want to add to this?
I'm sorry?
You said yes very quickly. Would you like to add something to this?
No, I was just agreeing. I understand that people spend a lot of time on their phone and spend a lot of time connecting, but for me, it's very, what's the word? The word is intentional. It's intentional for me to separate from my phone. It's intentional for me to actually stop talking when there are other people in the room. It's intentional because, as I said, I'm looking for people who want to be converted. And the only way I know if they want to be converted is by what comes out of their mouth. Because the Bible says, and I believe a lot of the Bible, death and life is in the power of the tongue. And I heard that 30 years ago when I first gave my life to Jesus. But look at the world we live in, Carla. The world we live in consists of everybody saying something, everybody talking about something, and it's death and it's life. So because death and life is in the power of the tongue, I'm going to be a lot more judicious in the use of my tongue. And as I get older and older, I get better and better. Because the number one thing I used to have difficulty with was not wagging my tongue to my detriment, because I didn't know who I was talking to. I didn't know who was in the room. And the reason I didn't know, Carla, is because I wasn't listening to who was in the room. But this idea about how the tongue is really manifesting in our world, I think it's an idea that actually can be meditated upon, and if we taught people that, I think the world would be a much better place. And I'm not committed to making the world a better place. I'm committed to making me better. And as a result of me being better, the world might become a better place. But it's really, really important that we know the power of the tongue. And the reality, and the corollary to the power of the tongue is, well, I'll put it this way. I had a thought a couple of weeks ago, and the thought was, what if everyone said exactly what they wanted to say and no one got their feelings hurt? Wouldn't that be something? If we could just say whatever we want to say and no one got their feelings hurt, that would be a wonderful world, because much of the heinous things that go on in the world, they come because of what people heard, it comes because of what people told us. So we could find a way to manage that. And the only way I know how to manage it is spiritually, through having Jesus in your heart. But you got to be able to manage. I got to be able to manage Victor so that nothing Carla or Huang says hurts my feelings, because I wasn't born to get my feelings hurt. And when I get my feelings hurt, like anybody else, I'm liable to do something that's not flattering.
And I think that's true for anyone. But getting your feelings hurt, is that more in your mind or in the mind of the other person?
It's all in your mind. That's the point. It's all in your mind, because nobody who's talking to you, no one who's in the, they're not trying to hurt you. Human beings hurt other human beings in response to being hurt. Nobody is thinking up ways to hurt people. They're just not. At least not with their words. You know, people who have conversations with you, people that, like, you're talking to me and I'm talking to you, over the course of you and I knowing each other, I'm sure that there are things I have said that have hurt your feelings. And I know that there's things that you have said that have hurt my feelings, but it wasn't because of what each of us said. It was because of what we thought about what we heard, right? You're not here to manage my feelings. I'm not here to manage your feelings. And when you give me the power of managing your feelings, you turn yourself into a victim. And if you turn yourself into a victim, chances are you're going to victimize someone else. So embrace the thought that you are enough. Embrace the thought that God loves you. Embrace the thought that you win, and realize that nobody's trying to hurt your feelings, because you know what? They're probably not even thinking about you. They're thinking about themselves and their own life.
Well, you know, on the English show, and I find this kind of funny, people say, they'll write to me and say, I want to speak with you in English. And my first reaction is, very good, come to the show. Well, I'm going to make a mistake and everyone's going to laugh at me. And I'm like, very good. That's great. Who really cares about what anyone else says about you but you? Huang hears me say this every time I do a show. Your concern is much greater about yourself than anyone else.
Besides, they're already laughing at that nose you have.
I can tell you a story about my nose is bad.
No, the person that you're talking to, the person that's wondering that that think that somebody might be laughing at them because their English is bad. Well, so what? They're already laughing at your nose, so you might as well come to the show.
Right, and that's true. What you said has a lot of truth, unfortunately. And, you just can't take any of that personally. Who really cares?
And in a minute, they're gonna forget it anyway. Things happen so fast. Nobody thinking about you. Nobody. Well, except, oh, Carla, it's 8 o'clock. I'm terribly sorry. My time is up.
Well, the time of the show is up. We just need a few more seconds of your time and then I can let go.
Okay.
I was just checking the time myself. But the point is, when you get back to these trolls who are coming to just mess things up, they're not hurting anyone but themselves. And when we begin to realize that we're hurting ourselves with negative feelings and negative thoughts, then we begin to grow and then we begin to be free. And with that, I think, yeah, we're there. We got there. We will be back next month, twice a month, once for people of Southeast Asia, and another show for Planet Union to come and talk about culture and ways of life. And can we please wave goodbye? Victor, you can wave goodbye. We're going off air. Bye,
Bye-bye.
everyone.